What's up? What's up? This Corey Johnson. Look, I'm not trying to offend anyone with this video, but I gotta tell you, man, with Donald Trump out here trying to cut welfare down to a minimum, and trying to get rid of Section 8 and Metro. Pretty much, a lot of the young girls mostly are going to have to step up their game and not mess with the wrong guys out here. I know for sure that this type of thing would and could reduce teen pregnancy because it make young girls think twice about the type of men they lay up with. I saw a video by some guy, I can't remember his name, but there was one part of the video. It made me laugh though. He said, with them cutting Section 8 and or Metro, depending on which state you're residing in. He said the days of Pookie or Ray Ray sleeping on Keisha's couch, those days are over. Basically, because if they lose their Section 8 or Metro, Pookie or Ray Ray can't stay over. You know what I'm saying? Sleep on the couch and eat the kids' snack pack up and all that crazy stuff. Uh, I couldn't help but laugh off that part of the video. But what he was saying is these people gonna kick you out of their shit, especially if you can't afford the housing that you live in, under Section 8 or Metro. But what it all really boils down to, you know what I'm saying, is you got to stay independent. You have to stay independent and not depend on the government to subsidize your housing. Depend on the government to subsidize your your being able to afford food. You know what I'm saying? And remain independent and start thinking independently. Autonomy is the only way out of this. You know what I'm saying? Because once you depend on the system, the system got you, and you have people coming over checking in your freezers, checking in your refrigerators, checking around your house, making sure a man doesn't stay there. It's crazy to live under those conditions. And I remember when I was growing up and my mom was staying in the projects and stuff, I used to see big SUVs and trucks outside the housing projects with rims on them, you know what I'm saying, and big loud stereo systems and stuff. And I'm like, man, how is it this woman able to afford all of this? But it didn't hit me that they were messing with drug dealer boyfriends, you know what I mean? And as a result of that, they were living good. You know what I'm saying? Cheap housing. They got the medical card from the government. You know what I'm saying? Baby dad nowhere to be found. And that type of living condition, allowed them to live better than anyone who was working. And I just, as a shorty or a shorty, I never understood that, until I got older, and I was like, oh damn, they was living with the dudes who were actually selling crack and cocaine and all that other shit, and was living good, and was getting this low income housing on top of that, food stamps and all that stuff. But now this guy has come in, Donald Trump has come in and said, you know what, we're gonna put an end to all of that. And people should have seen it coming, but they waited around because they were so dependent on the government. And but we're gonna have to start thinking like adults. All of us, men and women, everybody is going to have to step up their game and start depending on themselves, their own intellect, to survive this system, because the system is turning into what I call a AI system. It won't be run by necessarily people. It's going to be run by algorithm, where there's checks and balances by way of a computer system, by way of artificial intelligence. This is where the system is leading to. And so everybody get ready for that. Everything's becoming digitized, computerized. And I knew that this was the direction in which the system was going. And so everybody depending on the system, man, we have to somehow step outside of it, think outside the box, and start doing for ourselves and stop depending on government checks and things like that, and unemployment. Unemployment is a result of your slave labor, and half the time they don't even want to give you that. You have to fight for your unemployment. You know what I mean? You have to fight for that. You have to fight for your social security and all that shit. It's crazy. I think our great grandchildren and all of them gonna look back on history and say we were morons and idiots, because I hate to say it, but that's really what we are at this point. If we have allowed this system to evolve or culture itself or foster itself into what it is right now, it's really out of hand, and people depending on the cops to save them, and um, allowing these people to come in and regulate the guns and eventually take away the guns. It doesn't make any sense. And depending on the system for absolute safety, and it's something that Benjamin Franklin said. It was a quote that Benjamin Franklin uh, that I saw that Benjamin Franklin said back in the day. He said, "Any people who will give up essential liberties to purchase temporary safety deserves neither liberty nor safety." I agree with that. So if you give up your liberties for temporary safety, you deserve neither one, liberty nor safety. But people in the United States, half the time, don't think outside the box. They don't think as intellectuals. The common man, the working man, they just basically do like what slaves do: clock in, clock out of work, go home, watch football games, reality shows, and things of that nature, and probably scratch their asses and take a dump and then go to sleep, and then the day starts all over again, and it's just this one vicious cycle that people can't seem to get out of. And the same thing with the voting booths. Here people are lined up every 4 years, probably every 2 to 4 years, waiting to vote on a new dictator, a new ruler, not a leader, a ruler, because leaders don't make laws and regulations that dominate and control your life. Rulers do that. So that's all I wanted to say. Stay independent. If you're not independent, start thinking independent, and get out the system. There it is, cold world, and I'm out.